agenda is request for bill introductions. Do we have any bill introductions? Representative Butler, did you have a bill introduction? Representative Butler, did you have a bill introduction? Do you have a bill introduction? No, Representative Butler. Okay, you're just setting in. Okay. All right. Does anybody else have a bill introduction? Okay, seeing none. We've got one item that's not on the agenda today. I was asked to introduce RS 2625 last week. That had been drawn up with a request for individual sponsors. So it couldn't be introduced as a committee bill. So I need to withdraw that request for RS 2625. Is there any objection? Yes, Representative Hoheisel. Okay, thank you. Okay, anybody else? All right. Seeing no objection, the request is withdrawn. Today, committee, we're going to have hearings on two bills. The first hearing today will be on HB 2481, designating a portion of K96 highway as the PFC Henry Lee Fisher Memorial Highway. And we'll have an overview from our reviser, Chris Wagner.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good afternoon, committee. House Bill 2481 designates a portion of K96 highway in Reno County as the PFC Henry Lee Fisher Memorial Highway. Section 1 provides that this highway will be designated on K96 from the eastern city limits of Haven to the western city limits of Haven. As standard per KSA 68-10, 114, those highway signs will not be placed by the Secretary of Transportation until they receive sufficient funds to cover the cost of the signs, plus an additional 50% of the initial cost to pay for future maintenance or replacement. Section 2 of the bill redesignates that portion of K96 highway to account for the PFC Henry Lee Fisher Memorial Highway. Currently, a longer stretch of that is designated as the State Fair Freeway. So we kind of carve out that portion like we've done in some of these bills in the past for the new name. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Do we have any questions for Chris? All right, go ahead.
Thank you. Just a clarification. I should know this, but I've got to follow you. So with all street signs, you have to have at least 50% of all the funds in?
No, you have to, an initial cost for the signs, those have to be provided through funds to the Department of Transportation, plus an additional 50% of that initial cost for future maintenance or replacement. And that just has to be done before the signs will be placed.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Any other questions? Okay. Next item is the fiscal note. Everybody will look at the fiscal note. You can see it breaks that out pretty close. Together, they'll have to come up with $12,660 in donations for these signs. So with that, we'll get into testimony. The first proponent for this bill, House Bill 2481, is Representative Seiwert. Representative Seiwert, welcome to the committee. Representative Seiwert is a long-term member of this committee, so he's very familiar with this process. Thanks, Joe.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and it's a real honor to be here again in this room for a change. I want to thank you and the committee for allowing us to speak here today with several of my constituents that are introducing these bills. It is 2481 and 2575. There's tremendous stories behind these bills, so I won't go into it. I have them here to talk to you, Reno County Commissioner Ron Hirsch and Haven resident Jake Fell. They're here to represent these bills, and I appreciate your consideration for approving them. If you have any questions, let's save them for them because they'll be able to ask you. But Private File has a tremendous story, and I'd love to tell it to you, but I'm going to leave it for his family member to do that. And hopefully he'll touch base. It's an amazing story of a Vietnam-era veteran in the same days, and I was in there as a veteran. I got drafted, but I didn't have to go because Nixon canceled draft. But he enlisted, failed, and his physical went back and got healthy, went and was killed in action. It's real touches my heart. So I hope you listen to the, and then Randall County Commissioner will do the other one on the, there was a question on the name, the Deadeye group had to do a little changing, but I'll let him explain that. It's all thing. So I'll turn this over. If there are any questions to them? Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for allowing me to present it. Representative Mike Murphy's here also to represent the county that these are both in. So if you'd like to talk to him, I don't know if he has anything to say. Any questions for me? I'll be quiet.
Do we have any questions for Representative Cyward?
Great.
Very
Thank you.
much.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, committee.
Representative Murphy, did you want to address the committee?
Thank you. Representative Michael Murphy, 114th. Just was going to throw my weight, as such as it is, behind this. I think this is a very worthy effort here, and to remember this this veteran from the local area. Thank you.
Let me thank the chairman and the rest of the committee for allowing me to be here today. My name is Jake File. I'm the nephew of Henry Lee Fisher. Henry Lee Fisher was born on May 31st, 1947 in Haven, Kansas, to Kermit and Claudine Fisher. He was the second oldest of 4 children. The Fisher family were lifelong Haven residents, and all 4 kids graduated from Haven High School, with Henry graduating in 1965. Kermit Fisher, Henry's father, proudly served in the Army during World War II, so both of his boys chose to follow in his footsteps and serve their country. Upon graduating high school, Henry enlisted along with 2 high school buddies. Henry was actually rejected the first time due to a hernia that was found during his routine physical. Perhaps he could have walked away right then, but he chose to return to Haven, have the hernia repaired, and he went back and enlisted. Henry joined the Army and became part of the 16th Infantry, 1st Infantry Division, and was eventually sent to the front lines of Vietnam. Sadly, he would never return home, as PFC Henry Lee Fisher was killed in action in Vietnam on June 18, 1967. He was just 20 years old. Like many of his ancestors before him, Henry Lee Fisher chose to serve his country and to defend the freedoms that we all enjoy to this day. It was a calling for him to serve his country. He gave the ultimate sacrifice doing just that. To my knowledge, there have been only 2 Haven residents that were killed in action while serving in our military, but just one of those lived his entire life there, and that is my uncle. I never got the chance to meet my Uncle Henry. I grew up on stories of him told to me by my grandma and my mother. I've been proud of him since the day I heard the very first story. Henry had a chance to avoid Vietnam, but he felt so strongly about serving that he went back after his hernia surgery. That to me shows just what kind of man he was. Being a lifelong resident of Haven, it is only fair that we memorialize his great sacrifice. I am here today to ask the committee to designate the portion of 96 Highway from the eastern city limits of Haven to the western city limits of Haven, the PFC Henry Lee Fisher Memorial Highway, and have a suitable sign erected at or near both the eastern city limits, western city limits of Haven. I'm happy to answer any questions the committee might have.
Thank you, sir, for your testimony. It truly is a beautiful testimony. And, I know your uncle would be so proud of you today for being here. Does anybody have any questions? Representative Goddard.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And thank you, Jake, for your testimony today. I can really relate to it because I graduated from high school in 1965. And I remember several of my classmates went directly into the service. Sadly, 2 of them never returned. And I certainly appreciate the service of the private and all those who served in Vietnam during those years. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Representative Hauser. Oh, you didn't. Representative Ballard.
Thank you. You know, we hear a lot of these, quite a few each session. This was very touching. A little different in that if people were looking for a reason not to serve, he had a convenient one. And he chose what he felt was the right thing to do and serve his country. I think this makes this truly unique. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you for saying that.
Any other comments or questions for the conferee? Seeing none, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Do we have any other proponents that aren't on the agenda? Do we have any opponents? Seeing none, do we have any neutral? All right. I'll go ahead and close the hearing on House Bill 2481. Next item on the agenda is House Bill 2575, designating a portion of K96 Highway as the 96th Deadeye Infantry Division Memorial Highway. Representative or Revisor Wagner, would you give us an overview?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Committee House Bill 2575 designates a different portion of K96 Highway in Reno County as the 96th Deadeye Infantry Division Memorial Highway. That highway will run on K96 in Reno County from its junction with 56th Avenue, then go northwest to its junction with Nickerson Road. Same requirements. The signs will not be placed until the initial cost plus 50% to cover future maintenance and replacement. That would have to be provided before signs are placed. I'll stand for any questions.
Anybody have a question for Chris? Good job. All right, everybody, I'll please take a moment to review the fiscal note. Representative Sywert, did you want to speak again on this, or you're good? All right. Next on the agenda is Ron Hurst, and we put you down as resident. I didn't know if you wanted to come as your official capacity as Reno County Commissioner or not. Are you here as a resident or as a county commissioner? Okay. All right. So if everybody will just note that he's here as a resident, not as county commissioner. Okay. Welcome to the committee, Commissioner.
Mr. Chairman and committee members, thank you for the opportunity. Mr. Chairman, I have some I can pass out. Thank you. Thank you very much. You know, there's some things that I learned from this process in that the original bill 2625 has changed to 2575. And that also this morning, I was informed that nicknames cannot be used on the signs. So when you see the word Deadeye, you can scratch through that and it will be the 96th Infantry Division Memorial Highway. And I thank you for this opportunity to speak in front of you. I'm going to include some information on the 96th. There were at least 4 Reno Countyans with the 96th in Okinawa and Leyte that I know served there. There were many in Kansas that served in the 96th Deadeye Infantry Division during World War II and later. Because this is a state highway, I believe it is only fitting that a section in Reno County be dedicated for all those Kansans who served in the 96th Infantry Division. Those from Reno County that I have been able to identify are Sergeant J.L. Mock, Staff Sergeant Clyde C. Thrasher, Harold Garrison, and PFC William N. Hurst. I have found 10 others from Reno County, but was unable to actually verify that they served in the 96th in one of the areas in the 96th. But they did serve in the Pacific region during that time period. I'm unaware of specific battle awards given to those, except everyone in the 96th received a Distinguished Unit Citation. But PFC Hurst, and yes, that's my dad. He was killed in action, on May 27th, 1945. He was in action for almost 30 days. He received the Purple Heart, the Bronze Star, and the Distinguished Unit Citation. And Sergeant Mock, who I mentioned earlier, went to grade school with my mother in Valley Pride in rural Reno County. The 96th Deadeye Infantry Division was activated in 1918 at the end of World War I. It was reconstituted in 1921 in the Army Reserve System with Major General Bradley and Assistant Division Commander General Eastley. And General Eastley was killed in action on Okinawa also. The commander stressed rifle marksmanship, therefore the name Deadeyes. 96th was activated August 15, 1942, left for training in Hawaii July 23, 1944, and on 9/11, 1944, the 96th left for combat destination in Leyte and then Okinawa. I have cited the different awards given out to the individuals. 5 Medal of Honors, DSC 12, DSM 1, Silver Star 232, and it goes on and on with LMs 4, 73 SMs, and 4,588 Bronze Star medals and 84 AMs. Division strength was 14,253. By the end of June 1945, total counting replacements was approximately 30,000. 2,136 would be killed in action or died of wounds. 14,484 would be wounded or have jungle fever. That includes 453 missing in action, and by 2007, there were still 32, but it was down to 32 MIA. In conversation at one of the reunions that I was fortunate enough to attend, was speaking with the historian of the 96th in Denver. He had data that shows that the average day to spent up on the front line was 5 days before there was some type of casualty. Okinawa was the largest and longest of any Pacific campaigns. 8 million artillery shells were fired on that island. The 96th has served in World War II in Leyte and Okinawa. They served in Korean War, Vietnam, Bosnia, Kosovo, Iraq, and Afghanistan. Effective in September of 17th of 2008, the unit became the 96th Sustainable Brigade. The SB is headquartered in Fort Douglas, Salt Lake City, Utah. And I especially thank you for any consideration given to those who served in the 96th Deadeye Infantry Division, and by dedicating a section of this 6 miles to the 96th Infantry Division. And I thank you very much, and I stand for questions.
Thank you, Commissioner. And, you know, I don't know how to express my sorrow for your loss. And I know how proud of you your father must be that you've achieved what you have without him there to be with you and guide you. So thank you very much.
Have a very good family.
Yep. Representative Proctor.
Yes, sir. First of all, thank you for bringing this to us and full support. You stole some of my thunder there at the end, but I just wanted to let everybody know that the Deadeye guidon of this division lives on. It's still the 96th Sustainment Brigade. They were in Iraq and Syria fighting ISIS most recently, but throughout the global war on terror, they've been on the front lines, continuing to carry on the proud tradition of the division. I just wanted to share that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Double Diamond still's alive.
Representative Collins.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. First, I just want to say I appreciate their service, the 96, and their sacrifice, as well as yours and your family and the other families as well. And I just wanted to point out that it seems kind of appropriate to me that a portion of 96 Highway would be named for the 96th Infantry Division. I don't know if that was coincidental or if someone thought of that ahead of time, but I just really think it's cool. But thank you.
Thank you for your support. Appreciate that.
Representative Ballard.
And thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm looking at division strength. Thank you so much for being here. That was a beautiful breakdown. If you look at the number, the 14,253, and you go through all the numbers, and especially the missing in action, because a lot of times we never really know, the number of missing in action that wherever they found their remains and everything else. This was well done. Thank you so much.
Any other questions or comments?
Mr. Chair,
Yes. Go ahead, Representative.
Representative Neely, I just wanted to say that I'm very proud of that this is happening, and wanted to let the committee know also that I was born and raised about 4 miles east of this highway and spent almost 25 years in that immediate area. So that is my stomping ground from birth to college time.
Anyone else? Thanks again. All right. Do we have anybody else that would like to testify on House Bill 2575 as a proponent? Seeing none, do we have any opponents? Do we have any neutrals? All right. I'll go ahead and close the hearing on House Bill 2575. Committee, for the rest of the week, we're going to continue to have hearings. If any of you are involved with House Bill 2498 or House Bill 2507, those are the ones we're going to hear tomorrow. Please make sure that your conferees get their testimony to NEG so that we can get everything out to you guys. House Bill 2498 is for the first City of Kansas license plate. 2507 is naming a bridge in Sumner County. On Wednesday, we're going to have a hearing on House Bill 2523 that will allow farm permit holders to drive to and from religious activities like normal restricted drivers can. And then on Thursday, we'll have a hearing on House Bill 2500, which deals with the Delta waterfowl. That's kind of the plan is for the rest of the week. Does anybody have any questions about that? All right. Anything else for the committee? If not, we're adjourned and we can all go sign